The void was not silent, it whispered, a low, ceaseless hum that burrowed into Captain Zarar's skull, like a parasite gnawing at the edges of his sanity. He stood on the bridge of the Erebus, a sleek, obsidian dagger of a ship, slicing through the uncharted fringes of the Orion Arm. The stars beyond the viewport were sparse, their light cold and indifferent, as if they resented the intrusion of human eyes. Zarar's crew, Evan souls, handpicked for their resilience, moved with mechanical precision, their faces pale under the sterile glow of the console. They were explorers, seekers of the unknown, but none of them could shake the feeling that the unknown was watching them back. Zarar's mission was simple, at least on paper. Investigate a faint, repeating signal detected in the Eridanus void, a region so desolate it was nicknamed the Abyss by starfarers. The signal was artificial, structured, and impossibly old, predating humanity's first steps into the cosmos by millennia. The United Earth Directorate had deemed it a priority, though their orders were laced with unease. Proceed with caution, the briefing had said. Do not engage unless absolutely necessary. Zarar had laughed at that. Engage what, ghost? The void didn't answer questions, it swallowed them. The signal grew stronger as the Erebus approached its source, a rogue planet, untethered to any star, drifting in the black like a forgotten thought. Scans revealed a surface of jagged obsidian spires and vast, glassy plains, pocked with craters that seemed too deliberate, too symmetrical. The planet had no atmosphere, no magnetic field, yet the signal pulsed from its core, steady as a heartbeat. Zarar ordered a descent, ignoring the knot in his gut. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Rao, hesitated, her dark eyes flickering with something Zarar refused to name. Fear, perhaps, or something deeper. Captain, Rao said, her voice low, this place. It feels wrong, the readings are off, the planet's mass doesn't match its gravitational pull, it's like it's hiding something. Zarar forced a grin, though it felt like a grimace. Hiding? It's a rock, Rao. Rocks don't play games. But as the Erebus breached the planet's shadow, the hum in Zarar's head sharpened, no longer a whisper but a chorus, fragmented, alien, and laced with intent. The crew felt it too. Technician Voss clutched her headset, muttering about voices in the static. Navigator Chen's hands trembled as he plotted coordinates, his calculations slipping like sand through his fingers. Only Zarar held steady, or so he told himself. He had to. Doubt was a luxury he couldn't afford. The landing site was a vast mirror, smooth plane, reflecting the Erebus like a dark twin. The signal's source lay beneath, buried in a network of tunnels that spiraled into the planet's crust. Zarar led a team of 4, Au, Voss, and Dr. Klein, the mission's xenobiologists, into the depths, their suits sealed against the vacuum. The tunnels were not natural. Their walls were etched with patterns, fractal and hypnotic, that seemed to shift when viewed too long. Voss swore she saw them move, but Zarar dismissed it as nerves. The hum was louder here, vibrating through their bones, and with it came something new, a sense of being watched, not by eyes, but by something vaster, something that saw through them. The tunnel opened into a chamber, its scale dizzying. The walls curved upward into darkness, studded with crystalline structures that pulsed with faint, sickly light. At the center stood a monolith, blacker than the void itself, its surface rippling like liquid. The signal emanated from it, a rhythmic thrum that synced with Zarar's pulse. Klein approached, her scanner trembling in her hands. This isn't technology. She whispered, it's alive. Before Zarar could respond, the monolith shuddered. The air impossible in the vacuum grew heavy, pressing against their suits. The hum became a voice, not heard but felt, a cascade of alien thoughts that clawed at their minds. Zarar saw flashes, cities of impossible geometry burning under a sky of writhing shadows, fleets of ships torn apart by unseen hands, and eyes, endless, lidless eyes, staring from the dark. Rao screamed, collapsing to her knees, her visor fogging with frantic breaths. Voss backed away, muttering prayers to gods she didn't believe in. Only Klein stood transfixed, her face a mask of awe and terror. "We shouldn't be here," Rao gasped. "It knows us. It's always known us." Zara grabbed her arm, pulling her back. "Focus, Lieutenant. We're not leaving until we understand this." But understanding was a trap. The monolith pulsed, and with each pulse, it fed them fragments of truth. Truths too vast, too alien for human minds to hold. Zarar saw humanity's history unspool in reverse. Wars, triumphs, the first spark of consciousness, all dwarfed by a cosmos that regarded them as less than dust. The monolith was an archive, a warning, crafted by beings so ancient their name was a wound in reality. They had fought something that bled stars and laughed in the dark, and they had lost. The warning was clear: do not fight them. They are not like you. They are not like anything. Zarar's mind reeled, but he clung to one thought: the they. And the warning weren't the builders of the monolith, they were something else, something worse. And as the visions burrowed deeper, he saw glimpses of what they might be: shadows that moved against the flow of time, shapes that existed only in the spaces between atoms, minds that fed on the act of being known. And then, a final, shattering image: Earth, its skies torn open, its cities reduced to ash, and humans, billions of them, marching willingly into the dark, their faces blank, their eyes glowing with a light that wasn't theirs. Klein was the first to break. She tore at her suit, screaming about the truth behind the truth. Before Zara could stop her, she lunged at the monolith, her body dissolving into it like ink in water. The chamber shook, the crystals flaring brighter, and the voice in Zara's head grew deafening. "You were warned. You were always warned." They fled, dragging Rao between them, her mind fraying with every step. Voss was silent, her eyes glassy, as if she'd left part of herself behind. The Erebus was still operational, but the crew aboard were unraveling. Jen had locked himself in the nav bay, scribbling equations that spiraled into gibberish. The comms officer, Patel, was muttering about the ones who sing in the dark. Only Zara held the fragments of his sanity together, driven by a single, desperate need to warn Earth. But the monolith had changed them. The hum followed them, no longer confined to the planet. It was in the ship, in their blood, in the spaces between their thoughts. Rao's condition worsened. She spoke in tongues, her words a mix of human languages and something older, something that made the air taste of rust. Voss began carving patterns into her arms, mirror images of the tunnel etchings, claiming they kept the shadows at bay. Zarar locked her in the medbay, but not before she whispered, "They're not coming for us, Captain. They're already here." The Erebus limped toward Earth, its systems failing one by one. The hum was everywhere now, a symphony of dread that drowned out reason. Zarar's dreams were no longer his own. He saw the monolith's builders, their forms incomprehensible, their minds shattered by the realization of what they'd fought. He saw Earth again, but different each time. Humans worshipping the shadows, humans becoming the shadows, humans erased as if they'd never been. Each vision ended the same way, with Zarar staring into his own reflection, his eyes glowing with that same alien light. Days blurred into weeks, or perhaps months. Time felt slippery, unmoored, the crew dwindled. Chen was found dead, his body curled into a perfect sphere, as if crushed by an invisible force. Patel vanished, leaving only a message scratched into the comms console. They were warned not to fight humans. Zarar read it over and over, the words twisting in his mind. Humans, the warning was about humans. It made no sense, yet it gnawed at him, a splinter of doubt that grew with every sleepless hour. Rao was the last to go. She cornered Zarar in the corridor, her face gaunt, her eyes too wide, too bright. "You don't see it," she hissed. "The monolith didn't warn us. It warned them about us. We're the ones who break the stars. We're the ones who sing in the dark." She lunged, her hands clawing at his throat, and Zarar acted on instinct, slamming her against the bulkhead. She crumpled, lifeless, her final breath forming words he couldn't hear. He stood over her body, trembling, the hum now a roar that threatened to split his skull. Alone, he stumbled to the bridge, the ship's systems flickering like dying embers. The viewport showed Earth, impossibly close, its blue marred by streaks of black, like veins under skin. Zarar activated the comms, his voice hoarse. "This is Captain Zarar of the Erebus. Do not approach the Eridanus void. Do not seek the signal. It's not a warning for us. It's about us. We're not what we think we are. We're..." The transmission cut off. The hum surged, and Zarar's vision blurred. He saw himself, or something wearing his face, standing in the bridge. Its eyes glowed, and its smile was too wide, too knowing. "You were warned," it said, its voice his own but layered with countless others. "You were always warned." The Erebus entered Earth's atmosphere, a burning streak against the night sky. No one saw it land. No one heard Zarar's final message, though fragments of it lingered in the static, picked up by amateur radio operators who dismissed it as noise. The ship was never found, its crew reduced to a footnote in the Directorate's archives. But in the years that followed, strange reports surfaced, shadows moving in the corners of cities, voices whispering in the dark, and eyes, glowing, lidless eyes, watching from the stars. Humanity pressed on, oblivious, building ships, reaching for the cosmos. They never questioned their place in it, never wondered why the universe felt so empty, so hostile. They didn't see the patterns, the warnings carved into the bones of dead worlds. They didn't hear the hum, though it was there, always there, waiting for them to listen. And somewhere in the spaces between reality, something ancient stirred, its countless eyes fixed on Earth. It had warned the others long ago not to fight humans, not because humans were strong or clever or brave, but because humans were something else, something that should never have been, and now at last they were waking up.